Fish requires a lot of oxygen. Without oxygen, you don't have the fish.
So what is the importance of the inlet and the outlet pipe on a pond?
Clean water to be flowing into your pond.
Okay.
Dirty water should be flowing out. You can look at these ponds, the way the outlet and inlet are placed. They are not on the same side. Because we want that clean water to distribute itself across the whole pond. But if the outlet was here and the inlet was there, that means this other side wouldn't get the clean water. That pipe is supposed to let water drop into the pond. It shouldn't just go under the water. Because as it drops into the pond, it comes in with oxygen. Fish requires a lot of oxygen. Without oxygen, you don't have the fish. So as the water drops into the pond, it allows oxygen to enter into the water. It also chases away the dirty water into the outlet.
So then how do you monitor the oxygen levels for the fish?
Now, we may not have machinery to monitor that, but as a farmer, when you are in farming, the senses of your body are the major factors to use. You can use your eyes, you can use your ears, you can use the nose, you can use your hand, the sense of feel. Now, when the oxygen is not enough in the pond, the fish will come up. It will not stay down there. You will see them trying to gasp to get some oxygen. Your eyes are going to tell you that now you see these fish are floating on top. They are looking for oxygen. So then your senses will tell you that oxygen is not enough. And when you move around, actually you find that the inlet is not putting in water, or the outlet is not pushing out water, or the water has gone down. When you push in your hand, you might find the water is warm.
And what are the strings for?
These ones are scaring off the birds which come and eat them. Yeah. So when you are in farming, you use all your body senses. They help you. You call the expert to help you. You first use your body senses.
So now we've had our pond ready. It has the inlet and the outlet pipe. What else is required apart from oxygen?
You need to put lime. Because this pond, when you excavate it, there are worms inside there. There are eggs of unwanted fish. There are very many things which are very unwanted. So you buy lime, you clean up the whole place. You put in lime. This lime they use for construction. It will burn most of the worms. It will burn the eggs of the frogs. It will eliminate many unwanted worms in that pond. So after that, you let the water come and settle into the pond. Because you put this lime before water comes in. You don't let the water enter the pond before you put lime. The moment you have excavated and you have cleaned everything out, put lime all over.
On the floor?
Yeah, on the walls of the pond, on the floor, everywhere.
So how long am I supposed to leave it there before I induce my fish?
That's good for about 10 days.
Okay.
So you have to plan. If you know you have finished your pond, you have applied lime, you should know the time you are going to bring the fingerlings. At least 10 days. And during those 10 days, water will come. But also, you have to keep monitoring. Okay. If you can, you should put something to fence off the frogs, the snakes, the predators which can enter into the water. They are not visible, but they can finish off your fish. So you can fence off using mabati, old mabati. You can fence off using a net, like that net we are using there in a greenhouse. Yeah, you can get that.
Insect net?
Yes, you can put it around. The frogs will not enter there because frogs eat those young fish. You need to get rid of them. And after that, then you can introduce your fish. But most important, when you are going to get the fish, you have done all this. What you want is very good fingerlings. You need a very good seed. What is a good seed? You have to go where you are going to get your fingerlings. Don't stay on the farm and someone brings you fingerlings when you are on the farm. You go there and look at the pond where they are getting them from. In that pond where you are getting your seed from, I'm talking about fingerlings. There shouldn't be dead ones in that very pond. In that very pond, there shouldn't be fingerlings which are moving like this in circles, like they have a broken back. In that pond, every fish there should be alive. Because when they try to scoop them out, you look at them, they should be alive. But when they are gasping, you see them gasping for oxygen. When they are still at home there, we are going to get them from, you know they will die before a week elapses. So when you go there, you can look at the health of the fingerlings. You can look at the size. It's better they are uniform size. When you get different sizes, the bigger ones die first. I'm talking about tilapia, not yet.
Why is that?
The bigger ones, the bigger ones die first, because the way we handle young ones is not the way we handle the bigger ones. So for us, we shall be taking care of the young ones. They are really affected by movement, by heat, all these stress factors. They are first affected by any other one. When you bring your fish, usually they pack them in polythene with packed oxygen inside there. They can stay there for a day or for a day and a night. When you bring your pack in the pond, you shouldn't all of a sudden come and pour the fish in the pond. You come with your pack and rest it in the pond itself. You let this pack rest in the pond. We want the temperature of the water in the pack to be equal to the temperature of the water in the pond. Then you open the string which they use to tie.
That is after how long we've dropped our pack in the pond?
Like about 2-5 minutes.
Okay.
And then you open. You let the water of the pond enter into the pack of fish. Then the fish themselves will move out to join the pond, because now the temperature of the water will be equal. But when you force the fish into the pond, there are chances of losing some. And you know, these things are very fragile. We don't want to lose any. We don't want to carelessly lose any. Let them die the natural death, but we shouldn't lose carelessly any of them. So that's why we try to avoid.
What is there anything else we need to put into that pond? Like we put lime before introducing them, or it's all good and now we are going to feed them?
It is not good yet at all. What we have to do, we have to get something to protect them against predators. You see, for us we put threads here. When you put these threads, they scare away the birds. Birds, we have a bird they call kingfisher. When kingfisher enters the pond and you have put your fingerlings there, in 3 days she can finish all of them. Because for it enters into the water and swims down there and eats. So when you have to protect the top cover. Make sure no bird enters your pond. After you have protected them, then the first day usually we don't feed them because they are stressed.
So how do they survive then?
Where they came from, they had eaten the night before. So during that time, when they packed them in the oxygen bag, they were okay. They had enough food. They have carried enough food within their bodies. So when you put them in the pond, you give them some time to rest, to relax, to adapt to the new environment. Then the following day you can start feeding them. And by the way, you can buy fish at different stages. But for tilapia, it is in grams. You can buy fish which is 0.2 grams. You can buy that one which is it is according to the grams, but there's a certain level you don't go beyond. The big ones which are like 3 grams, 5 grams, those ones we don't buy. They don't even sell them to you because they do not really survive. So when you bring your fish, the first day they have not eaten, you have covered your top with either the threads or the net. Then the following day you start feeding. You should have a plan. Then these fish, how many times am I going to feed them? 4 times or 3 times, not 2 times, because when they are young they don't eat much, but you can feed them at least 3 times or 4. When they are still young, the type of food they feed on is powder, and that powder floats on top. By the way, tilapia, it's feed which is floating. They call it floating feed. It doesn't, the feed which sinks down there is not very comfortable for tilapia. So in the first 3 weeks, you should feed powder. How shall I know how much feed to put? When you have brought your fish, usually they will tell us you give a certain percentage of the body weight, then you are not going to weigh the fish. You will bring your powder, like 2 spoons, like tablespoons, pour on the pond, watch and see. When they eat and finish it, add more. They eat and finish it until you start seeing feeds floating. They have stopped feeding. You count how many spoons they have I put there until they stopped feeding. That is your formula. You are not going to use a formula from internet or a formula from the books. You are going to use a formula from your farm, because feed consumption is going to depend on the environment on your farm, the cleanliness of the water, the temperature, and very many other factors. How much have they eaten in the very first 5 minutes? That is your food. You are going to know that this is the food I should be giving my fish.